Hey everyone, this is WobblyWallaby. Today is a sneak peek of the upcoming anime collab in Ragnarok Mobile, which is Liu Mao Xing from the True Cooking Master Boy. This collaboration will be released on C server on September 23rd and on Global and EU on September 18th. Like other collabs, he costs 300 BCC to unlock, and he is the Bard or Dancer Hero class, and you don't need to unlock this branch in order to get this class, as you can see here. He does channeling, which is probably why it is in that class's branch, but he's a magic DPS, not a physical DPS. From my playtest so far, he hits harder than any other magic classes on my account, so he's definitely looking good so far. Thanks to Cremisi and Bacon for the translations. I will put a link to their spreadsheet for all the details. There are plenty of good info there that isn't in this video, since I want to focus on the factors of a good PvE class. Next, let's look at his skills. First is the hero core skill, which is Culinary Genius. Liu Mao Xing's channeling skill is called Cooking Process. The cooking process can be interrupted at any time, and Liu Mao Xing takes 70% less damage during the cooking process. At the end of the channeling skill, there is a 50% chance to trigger cooking success. At level 4, for every 5 points of luck, Liu Mao Xing's cooking success chance increases by 1%. When the cooking success chance reaches 100%, every additional 5 points of luck increases skill damage reduction and auto attack damage reduction by 1%. To hit 100% success, you need 250 luck. Next at level 7, Liu Mao Xing's cooking process cannot be interrupted, and while cooking, Lan Fei will also help by cooking an identical dish at the current location. In order to maximize your DPS, level 7 is absolutely mandatory. Having another person cook a dish is a must-have. Next is Basic Cuisine and Auto Attack. After 1 second of preparation, he deals 300% neutral magic damage to enemies within a 5 meter range. Unfortunately, the 1 second of preparation is really too slow and there's no way to reduce it, so I don't think anyone will actually use this. Next is Great Magic Panda Tofu, an active skill and his primary DPS. During the cooking process, every 0.5 seconds, enemies within a 5 meter range takes magic damage equal to 1800% fire magic damage and equal water magic damage, with a 50% chance to apply burn. Cooking ends after 5 seconds, and when cooking is a success, enemies entering a 5 meter radius will consume the dish, and up to a maximum of 5 times with a maximum of 1 consumption per second. The dish lasts for 5 seconds, and upon consumption deals magic attack percentage times 2800% fire magic damage. There's also a ruin called the Rolling Bamboo Shadow Star Ruin, which can increase your tofu damage up to 50%, so this is another one where you have to pray for good RNG. This is a high damaging skill with high frequency. It is an AoE that deals both water and fire damage, which is great. Although not convertible, it is similar to Inferno Armor, which does fire and holy. Fire and water is nice combo too, and fire also works well in Weiser Airship using the burn stack strategy. Next is Miracle Comet Fried Rice. This is an active skill. This is another channeling skill, and during the cooking process, every 0.5 seconds, he provides a damage absorbing shield for himself and allies in an 8 meter range, and the shield value is magic attack times 10 and lasts for 5 seconds. The shield can be stacked and cannot be dispelled. Cooking time ends after 1.5 seconds. During cooking success, shield duration for himself and allies in an 8 meter radius is extended to 60 seconds and now also absorbs HP loss damage. This is nice survivability for you and your team. The HP shield is also nice. The Starry Wish Ruin will also increase your auto attack and skill damage reduction as well. Next is Crystal Phoenix, an active skill. Again, another channeling skill. During the cooking process, you grant immunity to death for self and allies within an 8 meter radius, and cooking ends after 3 seconds. Upon cooking success, allies and yourself within a 3 meter radius can consume the dish. The dish can be consumed up to 3 times, with a maximum of 1 consumption every 7 seconds. The dish lasts for 10 seconds and only one can exist at a time. Upon consumption, grant immunity to death for 5 seconds. The effect cannot be dispelled. The cooldown is fixed and cannot be reduced. Having anti-death for you and your teammates is amazing. This is definitely an S tier party buff, and it's great for tough instances like White Star Airship and PSR. The Clear Phoenix Call Stern Ruin will further increase the number of times you can consume the dish when cooking is successful. Next is Treasure Mountain Dragon Pot, an active skill. This is again another channeling skill. During the cooking process, every 0.5 seconds it increases the physical damage and magic damage of yourself and allies within an 8 meter radius by 10% up to 5 stacks. This effect lasts for 120 seconds and cooking ends after 1.5 seconds. During cooking success, allies and yourself within a 3 meter radius can consume the dish. It can be consumed up to 5 times with a maximum of 1 consumption every 10 seconds. The dish lasts for 10 seconds and only one can exist at a time. Upon consumption, reduce skill cooldown and cast delay by 30% and can stack with other skill cooldown reduction effects but cannot exceed 50% and last 10 seconds. This is a massive buff to both magic and physical users, which is fantastic. And this is also a great party skill as well. As if that wasn't good enough, the Dragon Swords with Precious Flame Rune will further increase the skill damage from the Dragon Pot. Next is the Great Cosmos Sumai. This is an active skill. Again a channeling skill, and during the cooking process enemies within a 5 meter radius are unable to attack, and cooking ends after 4 seconds. During cooking success, it transforms them into an immobile Sumai man and unable to attack or move. The effect lasts for 3 seconds and cannot be dispelled. The cooldown is fixed and cannot be reduced. This is definitely a nice PvP skill, not so much a PvE skill. This is further improved with the Galactic Feast Ruin, which also affects the movement speed of the enemy. Next is Red Sea Bream, an active skill. This is another channeling skill. During the cooking process, every second restore 5% max HP and max SP to yourself and allies within a 12 meter radius. For each additional ally within the range, the restored amount is increased by 100% up to a maximum of 400%. Cooking ends after 5 seconds. During cooking success, if there are more than 4 players including self in the radius after cooking, all affected players within the area will be invincible for 4 seconds, and the invincibility can only be applied at least once every 10 seconds. This is a really nice way to restore HP and SP for your party and yourself, so this is definitely an amazing skill. And this is further improved with the Red Sea Bream's Paint the Landscape Star Ruin, which will grant you immunity even if you don't satisfy the number of ally conditions. Next is Mobile Cooking, a passive skill. This allows him to move around while performing the cooking process, however the max move speed is capped at 100%. For every 3 points of strength, the max move speed is increased by 1%, and additionally each point of strength increases his max HP by 500 points. Moving around is important while channeling, and this is definitely why I like this more than Genos, who's sort of stuck in place. Also, adding more strength is a nice way to boost your move speed and max HP, so definitely invest in it. Next is the passive Eversoul Knife. It increases the damage caused by Liu Mao Xing's dishes by 30%. During cooking process of Great Magic Panda Tofu, Mao's water damage or fire damage, whichever is lower, will be temporarily increased to the value of the higher of the two. This means you can boost fire damage and your water damage will be matched too, and this is a busted passive which definitely makes him very strong. Next is Master Chef, a passive skill. When he enjoys a dish, he gains 5% max HP and 10% magic attack. This effect lasts for 240 minutes and stacks up to 6 times. This is a nice way to boost your magic attack percentage and HP. Next is Revolving Dragon Pot, a passive skill. He reduces both variable cast time and fixed cast time of all allies within an 8 meter radius by 30%. Additionally, during the cooking process, he gains 50% crowd control resist. This is a nice party buff and the CC resist is great too. Next is his weapon. The one that's class specific is called Chef's God Emblem. 1% ignore magic defense and magic penetration per refined level is great for hitting the ideal stats. This weapon is also great for Magic Panda Tofu damage since every refine adds 3% damage. Also for the tiers, when you get to tier 5, while performing, physical and magic damage reduction plus 30%, and Refined 15, the effect of Eversoul Knife is doubled. The tier 5 effect is nuts but relies on it being plus 15, so you'll definitely want to get your weapon to plus 15. Now to craft the base weapon, here's the materials you'll need. There are a lot of the Eclage stuff. And to craft the weapon, you'll need Wizardry Staff and the Advanced Survival Staff as well. Next for Aesir Monument, nothing too spectacular. 11% magic attack, 10% ignore magic defense, 11% magic penetration, 15% fire damage, and 10% water damage. Next, here are the other synth gear he can use. Next, let's discuss the 12 factors of a good PvE DPS class and see where Liu stands. For damage frequency, he's absolutely insane with the Great Magic Panda Tofu, especially at level 7 core hero skill with an additional person cooking too. Next for burst damage, I wouldn't say he's a burst class, but that's fine, he's definitely a damage over time with consistent damage. His skills don't make him a burst class like Heinrich or Saitama. Next for survivability, he can give anti-death to himself and teammates with Crystal Phoenix. He can also restore HP with cards like the Seed card, and he definitely has great survivability buffs as well. So his survivability is definitely ideal, which is perfect for DPS classes. Next for damage scalability, I'd say his core hero skill gives a big damage boost since Lanfei also helps you cook. Luck also helps you with 100% cooking completion. He also gets a big boost from his weapon refine level, and getting it to 15 will definitely be a goal of many people that will main him. In addition, he can also heavily boost physical and magic damage classes with the Treasure Mountain Dragon Pot. Those factors alone make me think his damage scalability is fantastic. Next for hitting critical stats, I'd say he's okay. He can boost damage like crazy, but in terms of hitting unfair boosts to skill damage, magic penetration, or ignore magic defense, I'd say not so much. He does get a big boost from the Eversoul Knife to match his water and fire damage, which is quite nice. That definitely helps if there's high reductions. Next for convertible damage, he cannot convert. His primary skills are stuck to fire and water, which is okay. Those two elements put together are pretty strong, and he can deal with the upcoming fire boss in Ghost Palace just fine. Next for range, I'd say he's good. His primary attack is 5 meter range. Next is utility. He's incredible for party buffs. He has a mix of great offense and defensive skills, making him a valuable asset to a party. I could see him being a great addition to any Weister Airship party. Next for AoE, his primary DPS is great and has a big area. Next for ease of use, he seems pretty easy to use. I just buff with Treasure Mountain Dragon Pot, then attack, and then use anti-death as needed, then repeat. He's definitely quite linear compared to other classes, which is fine. Next is the ease of gearing up. I'd say he's excellent. Even without any shadow equipment, I can do quite well, whereas for other magic classes, it doesn't do nearly as well with this type of equipment. So from my experience, he's quite easy to gear up, and he definitely hits hard, which is similar to what happened when Kalitzberg and Rathkrasi were first introduced. They can hit hard even without optimal gear. Next is free-to-play friendly. Unfortunately, it will cost you 300 BCC, but I think it's quite strong and definitely worth investing in. Overall, I'd probably say he's at a Genos level or higher in terms of magic DPS potential, and he's definitely an S tier class. When he gets released, I'll definitely try him out on global and definitely get him to level 7. I think he'll be the best magic DPS class in the upcoming future, and he seems like a load of fun to play as well. What do you think of Liu Mao Xing? Let me know in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Here's a video that I recommend, and if you want more sneak peeks, check out this playlist over here.